All right. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know it's kind of sunny if you're here in Vancouver. It's cold, but it's still sunny out. So I really enjoy, and I'm very pleased that you guys join me tonight for the topic of flexible fasting. A couple of house cleaning rules. You'll see the little Finlandia box there. I have Jen Walker. She's a registered dietitian. So she's going to be answering all the questions throughout the seminar because if we get lots of questions, she'll be the person to go to because otherwise it will take us a long time to get through it. And then I will answer questions at the end. So if you have something specifically that you want to ask me, you can ask me as well at the very end. But if you have questions along the way, Jen is amazing. So thank you, Jen, for being here, and she will be able to answer them all. And I also want to thank Finlandia for having me here tonight. I've been working with Finlandia now going on like 13 years. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come back. This is my second time speaking with them. And tonight we're talking about flexible fasting. So a little bit about who I am. My name is Erin Ashley, and I'm a registered holistic nutritional counselor. I'm a founder and CEO of Erin Wellness, and I'm a registered holistic counselor, nutritional counselor, ISSA trainer, and eating disorder recovery coach. I've been in this industry for 18 years. I've moved all across Canada in a variety of capacities in the supplement industry. In 2020 and 2021, I was just voted again top 100 health and wellness influencer. I have a #1 selling book on Amazon called Bulimia to Balance, and I have 4 cookbooks with my daughter Michaela called Fast Paced Mom Cookbooks, and I'm also the wellness expert on Pulse 107.7 FM. But my most prized job to date is raising my daughter Michaela, who is right here, and she really is the purpose behind my brand, Erin Wellness, and the reason I really stepped into my own full journey of holistic health and wellness. And I'm going to share a little bit about my journey in a minute. But tonight we're talking about fasting. So let's get started. So before we get started, I am actually going to go back in time and let you know a little bit about who I am and my story and how this topic has become an important part of my life and that I use on a day-to-day basis. And it's worked just marvelously for me. And I'm hoping that the tools and tips and strategies that I'm going to give you tonight, you'll be able to possibly use in your life, maybe tweak them and make them work for you. So as Woody and Buzz say, let's go back to the very beginning. So at the age of 12 was my very first diet that I went on. And at the age of 13, I was put into Weight Watchers. And I sat in that meeting looking around and I realized I am too much and I am not enough. And that story really dominated most of my life in my head, right? I'm too much, I'm not enough. When I was about 14, I started with bulimia. A classmate had told me about his sister who had lost tons of weight and she was bulimic and anorexic. And I thought I had, found the winning diet ticket. And that was a 25-year battle that led to extreme anxiety and extreme hormonal imbalances as well. In my 20s, I started doing fitness competitions. And for me, and this is my experience with it, it became a glorified eating disorder. I was able to be super strict for 16 weeks and diet really hard. But then when I would end the show, I would fall off miserably and not just eat food, but I'd fall back into my bulimic tendencies. So I'd be binging and purging. So I just kept doing show after show after show. And if you look at the middle picture there, the one on the left is the very first show I ever competed in. The middle picture is not a couple months afterwards, right? So just kept doing these shows to try to get back on the wagon, right? To feel better, to look better more so than anything. The picture on the left here was the Arnold Classic. That was one of the last shows I did. It was a real bucket list of mine to step on that stage. And the picture on the right is about 3 months later. So about 10 years ago, I had my aha moment. And, I think a lot of us can resonate with the idea of, Monday, I'm going to start my diet, or Christmas or New Year's. But for me, it was always, I'm going to stop binging and purging. I'm going to get this under control when I get that day I'm going to do it. And yet again, I found myself upstairs in the bathroom on my knees, purging. And this time was a little bit different because I had a knock on the door and it was my 3-year-old daughter, 2.5, 3-year-old daughter, Michaela. And when I rose up and I caught my reflection, I realized in that moment, if I don't get a grip on this, if I don't begin to figure this out and stop warring with my body, that this will be my daughter. My daughter will end up having the same disordered relationship with food in her body. And so I really, in that moment, got sick and tired of sick and tired. I was just like, I'm done. I'm just done. And so I really began on a journey at that point to really find more of a holistic wellness. Now, I had worked as a trainer and a health coach, believe it or not. Usually we're very good at telling other people what to do, but not so much ourselves. And so I worked as a holistic health coach, but at the same time, I hadn't really applied all of these things to myself. And I thought back of all the girls I've trained over the years, and they'd come and work out with me for a bit, and then they'd go off, we'd go to a wedding, or we'd have springtime or summer coming up, and they'd disappear, and then they'd come back again because they gained all the weight back. And I was like, how do we find sustainable health and wellness? How do we find the balanced approach of everything? And it's not just nutrition, right? It's not just eating well, it's nutrition and movement. It's the thoughts we think, it's the friends. Our support network is so important. The people we surround ourselves with in our success is really important. And then supplementation on top of that. So then I also began thinking, I'd always really focused so much on what I was eating. What if I started thinking about like more when I was eating? And I'd heard about intermittent fasting. And so I did start doing some intermittent fasting. And I found that for me, what I've worked best was really doing this flexible fasting idea that I'm going to be talking about with you tonight. So the idea, of course, comes from, instead of focusing on what we're eating, focusing on when we are eating, looking at the time frame of things. So tonight's discussion, we're going to be talking like fasting 101. So we're going to go over some of the, not all of the different fasting techniques, but some of the fasting techniques that are out there. You might have heard about them. We're going to look at the health benefits for fasting. We're going to talk a little bit, then we're going to go into the flexible fasting idea and how you become more flexible fasting. And then intuitive eating, mindfulness, nutrition, and supplementation. All right, so let's get going. So intermittent fasting, if you don't know, it's abstaining or partially abstaining from eating for a certain set time. So there are different fasting methods. So we have a 16-18 fasting method. So there'll be 16 hours of fasting, it'll be 8 hours of eating, or 18 hours of fasting and 6 hours of eating. Now, usually the 16 and 8 hours of eating is for women. We tend to do that one. And then this 18 to 6 is for men, right? So we're just going to be going over the different types of fasting right now. Okay. So in this, you're going to eat for a period of 8 hours and you're going to fast for 16. And then, sorry, my daughter's calling me and she shouldn't be. And then we have the 20-4 fasting method, which is you're going to be only having a 4-hour window of eating with a 20-hour fast. Right. So you're going to start your fast after dinner. You're going to wait 24 hours till you eat again, or it'd be like one large meal a day. Then we have the 2-5 fasting method. So eating normally for 5 days of the week, but 2 days of the week, you're consuming a really low caloric amount, so about 500 calories. And then there is the 24-hour fast. So once or twice a week, you fast for 24 hours. And that's another way of doing it too. So when we look at the 16-8 method, you'll see here, or this could be the 18-6 method, right? So this is typically how it would go. You'd fast in the morning, maybe you'd break your fast around 11:30, 12, and then you'd stop eating by about 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock, depending on when if you're doing the 16 or 18, if you're a guy or a girl, right? Looking at those two methods. Then the next one, we have the 5 and 2. So you eat normally, and you don't have to do 2 days a week. If you want to do, you can do 1 day a week, as I said. So you do maybe roughly about 500 calories. That would probably come to you from bone broth or greens or protein, amino acids, those kind of things. We're going to talk about that a little later in the slides. And then we have the alternate day fasting. So you're doing full 24-hour fasts, or you're doing a 24-hour fast once a week. Right? So you're eating normally the rest of the week, and then you're having that 1 day, or if you want to, twice a week, whatever works for you, right? Those full fasting 24 hours. So what happens when you're fasting for those prolonged period of times, your body starts burning through the calories you've consumed in your last meal or the day before, correct? So then your body exhausts all the sugar stores and starts burning fat for energy, which is what we essentially really want, right? We don't want to burn our muscle. We want to start burning our fat. So intermittent fasting, we look here, this is an example, of course, of like the 16-18 that we talked about, 16-8, sorry. So before 12, you're drinking water, no milk, no sugar. You're having some foods during that period of time. And then after that, you're having more waters again. So some of the things you could have that's not going to break your fast, because this is a very common question. Water, obviously, plain or carbonated coffee or tea, I have coffee or tea. I have my Sweet Monk sweetener in here. You can use a little bit of milk or cream. It's not going to break you. I mean, as long as you don't want to go over 50, 60 calories is what you don't want to go over. You can use diluted apple cider vinegar as well. That's also going to help your gut health too. Nice fermentation. You can do superfoods. We're going to talk a little bit about superfoods and then slides coming up. So it's low in sugar. It's going to create more alkalinity in your body. Our body has acid and alkaline. We want to be in an alkaline state. So it's going to create more alkalinity. That's also going to help prevent cravings. That's something I drink in the morning, lots of greens. And you can also have bone broth as well. And that gives vitamins, minerals, and amino acids if you're looking to have those longer fasts. Those are some things you can look to fill in your morning. I mean, I carry around quite a bit of water, greens, teas, all sorts of stuff until I feel my body getting hungry. So now we're going to go over the benefits of fasting. Now, we haven't talked about flexible fasting yet. Those we're just going over the different types of fasts that you can do. Okay, so now we're going to look at the benefits. Weight loss. That's the big thing I think a lot of people look to fasting for, to be honest with you, is weight loss. So one of the reasons that it works so well is because you're eating fewer calories, calories in, calories out, but you're not putting as many calories in. And the only way it would not work, for one thing, is if you start compensating by overeating, right? If you get into that binging phase. So if you're somebody who's struggling with eating disorders, or somebody like myself back in the day when I was struggling with bulimia, this wouldn't be something for me to do until I really landed better in my body and my relationship with food was a lot better. I can do this very easily now. And according to 2014, there was using the fasting technique, you reduce your body weight by 3 to 8% in 3 to 24 weeks. Now, another thing that's really important to take away from this is it retains your muscle mass. So one of the worst side effects from dieting is you actually start losing your muscle. And you don't want to lose your muscle because your muscle keeps your metabolism going, right? Your muscle is what you want to have. If you look at the picture up here, 5 pounds of fat burns 20 calories, 1 pound burns 5. 5 pounds of muscle burns 250 calories a day. We want to make sure we keep our muscle. And that's one of the advantages of doing more of a fasting or flexible fasting, intermittent fasting style technique, is because you're going to be able to keep that muscle tissue, that all important muscle tissue that's going to keep your metabolism revved and burning. So in a calorie restrictive diet, 25% of the weight lost was muscle mass compared to 10% in fasting. So really looking at how that really can compare there is quite huge. Next, what it does, it controls insulin levels. So when we eat food with carbohydrates turn to sugar. After it enters in digestion, enters the blood, and the pancreas senses that we've got sugar in our blood and it starts to produce insulin. So insulin then helps the sugar enter the cells and generate energy, ATP. So what happens is if we have too much insulin, if we're eating too much carbohydrates, then that tends to turn to fat. We become insulin resistant. We can also become insulin resistant, and it will store more fat in our body. So, but during fasting, when you're fasting, because you're not doing this, you're not injecting insulin, right? You're not injecting insulin, sorry. You're not eating sugar. And so your insulin levels aren't jumping up. Your insulin levels drop, and lower insulin facilitates fat burning. So you're being in a fat burning state, in a more fat burning state. So intermittent fasting can reduce insulin resistance as well and lower blood sugar levels. So that's another benefit of it too. Then we have increases growth hormone. So that's my little ghrelin friend up there. So ghrelin is when you have that stomach growly feeling, like your stomach really is going. That's ghrelin. That's your body saying, hey, I'm hungry. That's this little guy here saying, hey, I'm hungry. But it also stimulates growth hormone. So I've always thought about it. It really shifted my changing around fasting when I began to realize this, because when I feel that hunger feeling, that's releasing, my pituitary gland is releasing growth hormone into my body. That's going to help break down fat tissue even more, and actually helps with muscle, keeps our skin looking young. When as we get older, our growth hormone levels decline. So one way of kind of keeping that growth hormone or amping it up is to let ourselves get a little hungry, feel that hunger cue. Then your body's producing growth hormone. And what it also showed too is a study showed that a 3-day fast, and we're not talking about doing a 3-day fast here, but a 3-day fast, your HGH, so your growth hormone levels, human growth hormone levels increase by 300%. And after 1 week of fasting, it increases by 1,200%. So really not saying we need to fast for 3 days or a week, but really showing how much those levels can amp up, which is going to help your body with muscle growth, strength, exercise performance, and prevents you from having injury and disease. Next, oxidative stress. It reduces oxidative damage, inflammation, and aging. So one of the reasons that we do have chronic diseases is oxidative stress. So when we are fasting, our cells are then starting to look for other sources for energy, like fatty acids. So this can also help the unhealthy mitochondria turn over and replace and make new ones. So we then are reducing the amount of free radicals in our system. So looking at how that can really help benefit you from that point. Fasting also triggers a metabolic pathway called atrophy, which removes the waste from the cells. Now, atrophy in Greek means self-eating. So it helps your system get rid of old cells, old damaged cells, and replace them with shiny new ones. So atrophy makes your cells young and more capable and slows down the aging process. So not only does it help protect you or reduce the amount of free radical damage going on in your system or free radicals, it also helps with aging as well. So that's another added benefit. Improves brain health. Intermittent fasting helps improve metabolic features known as brain health. It increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. It helps make new connections and it repairs failing brain cells and protects healthy brain cells as well. It also helps with neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. I'm going to take a sip of water because I'm stumbling on my words. Okay, breathe. Then also heart disease too. So heart disease is the world's #1 killer. And intermittent fasting helps with LDL cholesterol. It helps with blood triglycerides, inflammatory markers, blood sugar levels. So there's so many benefits when we're really looking at what fasting can do for you overall when it comes to health. So it enhances insulin sensitivity. It fights inflammation. It boosts weight loss, supports cognitive function, and supports heart health as well. So there are so many benefits when it comes to fasting. But when we look at fasting and when we look at eating, one of the things that I've really come to the conclusion of is when we start abiding in really strict, regimented patterns, or at least for myself, and that's one of the things with intermittent fasting. Maybe you're somebody who doesn't have a problem having the cutoff times, that's the only times you eat. But what I've found in working with different people, if there's flexibility in it, that's when it's something you can carry on and keep with you for quite a long time. Instead of having, I can't eat between this hour or this hour, you're really allowing more flexibility in that. It's something you're going to be able to use in your life forever and more sustainably, right? So when you look at the eating practices and traditions around the world, one thing is clear: human beings were designed to be flexible around food. Now, as I said, this would be probably me at 11:59 when I was starting a diet, but this can also be somebody after maybe they've had that time restriction. Maybe that time restriction doesn't work for you. Maybe not eating from set time to set time will actually trigger you to binge because you feel, I haven't eaten for this long. So this is one of the things when we start looking at how we can incorporate flexible fasting. Or here's somebody like our little friend here doing intermittent fasting, have to wait till 4 p.m. to eat. I've been out with people at dinner and they're like, oh, I can't eat yet, I'm intermittent fasting. Well, I think there has to be, to me, that's when you can utilize all the benefits from fasting, but you don't have to be so restrictive that you're not able to live your life. You're able to be flexible with it. And that's really where this idea of flexible fasting comes into play. Because flexible fasting, it's like intermittent fasting. You're still getting the benefits from it. You're still eating within certain windows, but it's not a time schedule. You're really listening to your body. So you're not saying, I can't eat till 12. Maybe 11:30, you feel that grinding, you feel that stomach growling, you're really hungry, right? And you can feel that and land in it, and then you acknowledge it and you decide what you're going to eat from that point on, right? So you organize your food. It's like you're making your own eating plan, your own personalized plan. Right. So unlike intermittent fasting, we're using more our intuition to develop attention and awareness to our own body. So we're actually connecting a little more. So with dieting, I always found you're very disconnected from your body, right? Because you can't eat certain foods and all this restriction. And I found with intermittent fasting, a lot of the time, it can have those same restrictions, but using this flexible fasting idea, you can still get the benefits. You can still have the weight loss. You can still have all the other things, but you're going to be landing more in your body and allowing your body permission to be hungry, and you're acknowledging it. So some of the differences between intermittent and flexible fasting would be intermittent be more timed, as I just said, and you fast until you're hungry. So if you are somebody who maybe you don't feel hungry, right? Maybe you want to give yourself a set point. Maybe you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go for it till 9 o'clock this morning. If you've never fasted till 9, and then the next day you're going to push a little bit more, but you're going to really land in your body and you're going to be like, am I hungry? Yeah, I really feel hungry. Okay, this is good. Now I know ghrelin and I'm getting growth hormone. This is a good thing, right? So there's no timed eating window. There in intermittent fasting, you have more restriction. In flexible fasting, it's more flexibility. In intermittent fasting, it can be stressful. And if you are stressed about thinking you can't eat, that's going to produce more cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And that's going to be counterproductive as well, right? So it creates more trust in your body. A lot of the times when you're restrictive and you're counting things or you're on a time thing, it can lead to disordered eating tendencies. This way you're honoring your needs and you're honoring your body. And there's no shame or guilt if you go past or go early, right? It's like, I'm going to eat because I'm hungry and I feel I'm hungry. It's not, oh, I shouldn't, oh, I failed again. That's not it, right? It's about really honoring yourself. And instead of being antisocial, as I said, having that friend went out for dinner, she couldn't eat, you get to have a personalized eating strategy that works for you. And that's really the kind of the whole point behind all this. So I'd like everybody, if they could for a second, just want to close your eyes. Oh, stretch my back. So close your eyes and just connect to your body for a second and really land. And just where are you on a hunger scale? Like right now, from a 1 to 10, where are you? Where are you sitting? And I'd love it if you could share. I'm going to open the chat up here. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so anybody? We are 3. Okay, so you're hungry at a 3. Anybody else? 8, 7, 8, 9, 8. Cool. Okay. Not hungry. Good for you. Hi, Jen. Just had dinner, so 7. Okay. 6, just 8. Good. Yeah, we're all around dinner time, I think, out here, right? Nice. Thank you for sharing, everybody. That's awesome. Love this. Yay, participation. Just finished dinner, 7. Nice. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay, so good. And learning to land in your body, right? We know when we're full. Like, okay, I feel full. I feel good. I'm satiated, right? I feel good about this, right? So now, if you were really hungry, sorry, 7, 8, it actually should be, okay, so if you were a 7, 8, or if you were a 3 or 4. So if you were a 3 or 4, if you were extremely hungry, if you're extremely hungry, what do you think, like, what would be your go-to if you went on the webinar today, when you open your fridge, because I think we all go and check that fridge light, right? I know I do it. What would be your go-to at night if you start really feeling hungry? Chips and chocolate. Oh, good for you. 230 nuts, pork rinds, cheese. I know I love cheese. I just had some too. Chocolate, lots of chocolate, nuts, cheese. Okay. Popcorn. All right. So a lot of what I'm seeing too, a glass of milk, a lot of I'm seeing too, chocolate cookies. A lot of people tend to reach for sweets, right? That seems to be a kind of a common thing. Actually, I have a solution for that too. I'll be talking about it in a little bit, but a lot of people tend to reach for the sweets, right? I think that's at night. We want something sweet, whether it be our family, we had desserts. We always had dessert in my household. My mom always made dessert. So maybe that's why we want that sweet at night, right? So, okay, so thank you. So yeah, looking at what we would want then. Soup, that's a different one. Chocolate, lots of chocolate. Nothing's wrong with a little bit of dark chocolate though, let's be honest, right? So what's that go-to? Now I want you to think about today. So now that you can kind of see where your choices are at night, because we want to actually start making different choices at night, opposed to having lots of sugar before we go to bed, right? I eat Whole Foods at 10:30 a.m. and 2:30, done this for years. No snacks. Good for you, Barbara. We want to make sure that we're not having high sugar food before we go to sleep, for one thing, right? So we're going to try to look for a solution. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. But now I want you to think about today. Think about your day to day. So were you hungry when you ate today? Like when you were eating today, did you feel full or did you feel hungry? Were you connected to your body? That's really kind of, I guess, the question I'm trying to ask is, the thing I find that a lot of us, we're so disconnected from our hunger cues. And that's part of the intermittent fasting, flexible fasting idea that I really like, is because it really can bring you in touch to your hunger, right? Like, okay, like I'm actually hungry, because we're so disconnected. I find myself driving and eating and, I'm just going like crazy sometimes. But it's really important for us to start landing in that, because that's really what flexible fasting, the basis of it is stepping into our hunger and stepping into feeling that and understanding what's going on physiologically in our body, right? Let's see here. Okay, felt less hungry. Okay. Most of the time I do it for being hungry when I'm out and about. I always have snacks with me too. That helps, just in case if I'm really hungry. I've got nuts in the car. Okay, so good. So the reason that's important, because we're going to step in now into intuitive eating, right? We're going to step into that. So the reason we're going to step into intuitive eating, because it really connects to flexible fasting. So if we're going to be flexible fasting, we have to be landing in intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is trusting our body, that our body is going to make the call about what choices is good for our body, without judgment and without influence of diet culture. So I don't really look at flexible fasting as dieting at all, because what you're doing is you're really learning to connect to what you're hungry, when you're hungry and why you're hungry, and then make really good positive choices after that. So part of the thing with intuitive eating that I found has worked phenomenally for me with this and in line with flexible fasting is it lets go of that all or nothing mentality. I learned to trust my body. I've had a better body image. You know, I used to do fitness competitions and I would beat myself up. It was never, ever good enough. And now for the first time, I actually am like, I'm good. Like I have more acceptance of myself. I have a higher self-esteem, improved metabolism, as well as we talked about the benefits of that, diminished stress levels, not sex levels, that wouldn't be a good thing, decreased rates of disordered emotional eating, increased satisfaction with life, and creates mindfulness with food and choices, because we are learning to be more connected to our body and what our body needs. So when we tie in the flexible fasting with intuitive and mindful eating, there is the question, why do I eat? Like, am I hungry? Or am I mad, sad, or lonely? Like in the morning time, am I actually hungry? Not really hungry. I'm just doing it because I'm maybe bored, or I'm putting around the house, so I'm eating stuff. I'm not really hungry. You know, when do I eat and what do I eat when I eat, right? Really kind of stepping into that connection with that. What do I eat? How do I eat? Do I take my time when I'm eating? Am I mindful? Am I present with my bites? How much do I eat? Really looking at that plate size, like, am I just standing there mindlessly eating? I think I do that when I prepare dinner for my daughter sometimes. I think we can all resonate with that. We're just chopping and eating. And where do I invest my energy? So this is really about learning to connect to intuitive eating, mindful eating, and flexible fasting, how these can all really mirror and come together. And the last thing on that one, I just want to say, if you're hungry, you're going to honor it. But now we're going to talk about the food choices that we can have that are not only, now we've talked about the fasting component and how beneficial that is. Now we need to talk about how do we start using food to give us fuel and give us energy and give us the results we want. And what kind of food do we want to start eating and making sure that we're including in our day-to-day lives? So let medicine be thy food, or let food be thy medicine, or medicine be thy food. So we've got a quiz. I've got a quiz today. I've got a prize. So let me just see my thing. The first, where's my little, there we go. Okay. So the first person who can tell me what macros are will win a gift prize. First person to type it in will win a gift prize from me. They're going to lose it. Oh, Nikki, you won. You get a lose it in water be gone. Nikki Pime, message in the question and thing. That was a really good job. Jen will message you, or you message Jen, and she will get your email address or give you my email address, and I will mail you a prize tomorrow. I'll give you a lose it in water be gone tomorrow. So good job, everybody, though. Protein, fats, and carbs. There we go. So that's what it is. And the reason is because this is a really important part of the talk. So as Stewie said here, you can't look like this without all the proper macros, Brian. Macronutrients are your protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Those are the macronutrients that your body needs to live. And then we have micronutrients too, which are more, we're going to talk about those too in the next little slide. So protein, one of the most important things, we talked about insulin in the slides earlier and how fasting can help your insulin levels. But another key thing with keeping those insulin levels, your blood sugar levels even, is protein. And I have met so many women over the years who tell me, I have enough protein in my diet. And no, you don't. You don't have good quality protein. We need to make sure we're getting enough protein in our diet. One of the things I have before I go to bed, and I absolutely love it, is I make myself a really good protein smoothie. Instead of having the cookies or the ice cream or the chocolate, you can make yourself a chocolate smoothie if you wanted to, with like a 30-calorie almond milk. Put that in the blender with some ice. It honestly is like ice cream. It's delicious. Put a little peanut butter in there, and you can slowly do this, because I think at night when we're watching something like Grey's Anatomy, we want to do the hand to mouth, right? So making a really great smoothie. So protein, it improves fat burning. It helps muscles building. We talked about that, how important it is to keep that muscle. Improves learning, improves mood, helps with heart health, slows down aging, and improves bone density. It also helps with hormonal balance as well, because it's going to help keep those insulin levels balanced. So proteins are chemical building blocks, and they're made up of amino acids. And so your amino acids help repair muscles and bones and make hormones and enzymes. It creates lean muscle tissue and increases your metabolism. This is why it's so important. So how we figure out our protein levels. So if you want, you can grab your phone. I have my phone on silent. I don't know how my daughter was able to call me still. But what you're going to do is you can actually Google it if you want, because I don't know the conversion, how to make it into kilograms. So whatever pounds you are, ask Google. I did 150 pounds is how many kilograms. That works out to 70.3 kilograms. So you can either take a screenshot of this too if you wanted to, and then you times that to figure out your daily intake of protein that you want to have. If you are somebody who does light activity, or you're not maybe exercising all the time, you do 0.08. I do 1 to 1.2. I do a higher amount of protein because I work out quite a bit. So I usually do about 1, minimum is 1 times 1. So this lady here, who's 150 pounds, she would have 56, give or take 60 grams of protein a day. That's how much she needs. If she's going to divide that between 6 little meals, or if she's doing fasting, she's probably going to have maybe 2 meals or 3 meals in that time period, right? So dividing that 60 grams of protein between 3 meals, that's 20 grams per meal, and making sure you're getting a good quality protein. That's chicken breast. We're going to talk about that next slide. Sorry, I don't want to give it away. But protein, also another thing too, with COVID, protein helps, it supports the immune system as well. And it helps the powerhouse systems of antibodies, and your immune system rely on protein as well. Okay, so some sources of protein we're looking at grass-fed fish. As grass-fed fish, that'd be awkward. Grass-fed chicken and beef, wild fish, lentils, eggs, chickpeas, spirulina, chlorella. We're going to talk a bit about those, tofu, whey, and then you have vegan proteins. One of my favorite proteins I use is lean whey, and Finlandia does have this. This is not a gigantic tubby. I know sometimes that those big tubbies can seem like a little too much. I like this company. It is Canadian. It is local BC, another little plus. It's vanilla flavored, super easy to make. They got 1 scoop in here, and there is 20, what do we got here? We got 24 grams of protein. Now, the idea that you want to have New Zealand and grass-fed is because it's happy cows, happy whey. They're out in the pasture. They're not in padlocks being chained down all the time, which isn't fun. So that's 1 scoop. So it'd be 2 scoops. I would take 2 scoops of this, put it in my blender with some almond milk, maybe throw in a couple ice cubes and some peanut butter. Delicious, right? This is what you can have before you go to bed. So that nighttime, about this time, when you start going like, oh, I'm really going to get hungry, I want something before I go to sleep, have your protein. Your body will use your protein while you're sleeping to create more lean muscle tissue as well. It's going to help you have a really good night's sleep. Protein, protein, protein. So this is another thing you can have before you go to bed. And they have all different types of flavors. So Finlandia does carry that. So this is the lean protein here. Sorry, I have a slide on it. I was just going off. So it's 24 grams of bioavailable protein. It is cold temperature cross-flow microfiltered as well. It has your digestive enzymes in there. It has 5.5 grams of branched chains. It has no sweeteners, no synthetic flavors. Your kids can drink it. My daughter loves it too. Great addition. I don't look at this as a supplement. This is a food. This lasts for 2-3 years. I always have a protein powder in my house. If you are a vegan, I would suggest either a rice protein. One of the reasons I like rice protein, it has all the essential amino acids. It has all 9 amino acids. So to make a complete protein, it has to have 9 essential amino acids. That comes in whey. that comes in rice as well. So I really do like the rice protein, but there are so many good vegan options as well in the market today. So get yourself a really good protein powder. You can make protein balls with it. You can do all sorts of stuff to have those late night snacks if you're looking to have something. Next, healthy fats. They're going to help balance your hormones. It helps with heart health. It's going to regulate your body temperature. It helps your body absorb A, D, E, and K, and we need to make sure we're absorbing that vitamin D. We know that they've even done studies. Those people who have come down with COVID tend to be vitamin D deficient. So we want to make sure we're getting those good healthy fats so our body can absorb all that vitamin D. Brain support, joint support, stabilizes your blood sugar, detoxifies the body, and the omega-3s are rich anti-inflammatory. There we go. Now carbohydrates, and carbohydrates have really been getting a bad rap these past couple of years. I do a lower carb. I'll be honest with you. I do higher protein, lower carbohydrates. I probably do about under 100 grams of carbs a day. I find that's always been the sweet spot for me. And as I said, that is for me, but I always have found, even with working with women, most women tend to be about 100 grams and under carbohydrates is a really nice sweet spot. It gives them energy. They feel good. It's sustainable. Instead of taking out all the carbohydrates out of your diet. So they give you energy and fiber. They help you with sleep, and they uplift your mood and improve digestion, which is so important. Provides vitamins and of course phytonutrients. Some of the healthy carbohydrates we can look at right now, it is salad season. I don't know about you, but I tend to be a person that eats seasonally. So I've got salads galore happening right now. In the winter months, I like to have more of my butternut squashes and my spaghetti squashes. But salads, you've got all those rich fibers, vegetables. If you're going to go for breads, make sure you're getting those whole grains like Ezekiel bread, starchy vegetables. I love, the winter squash, the sweet potatoes, all those things. Some really good starchy vegetables. So nothing's wrong with carbohydrates, just listening to your body and not eating, having a serving of them, right, is what we really want to look for. Next, fermentation. So fermented foods and gut support. So our immune system, 80% is in our guts, known as the second brain. So if you have gas, bloating, constipation, you really want to start incorporating some more fermented foods into your day-to-day diet. Stuff like kefir and tempeh and sauerkraut, apple cider vinegar drinks, probiotics are another one. They've even linked poor gut health can increase estrogen-related diseases such as PCOS, endometriosis, and even breast cancer, because how your body will actually get rid of excess estrogen is you poop it out. You sweat it out, you poop it out, you pee it out. So you want to make sure your bowels are moving well. Another thing you can do if you are somebody who has had your gallbladder removed, I highly, highly suggest you get onto an ox bile. Prairie Naturals has one called Bile Force. It's an enzyme. You take that. So if you have your gallbladder removed, you should definitely be on an ox bile enzyme. And they do have that at Finlandia. Or if you're somebody who's experiencing gas, bloating, constipation, Enzyme Force is another product too from Prairie Natural. It's just going to give you those enzymes you need to help your body break food down, because it's not only what you eat, but it's what you absorb as well. So you're eating all this great nutritious food, but your body's not absorbing it. So it's going to give you those digestive enzymes to make sure your body's able to utilize those. Now we're going to talk about superfoods, which are one of my favorite topics as well. So superfoods, and these are one of the things I talked about earlier for some of the things you can have in the morning time. If you're in that fasting zone, some of the liquids you can have. I usually drink 2 greens drinks in the morning. I have quite a bit of greens. Then I have a tea. Then I have like my water. Then I have my other water. I'm constantly drinking liquids. So superfoods, though, before I jump on a tangent here, superfoods are nutrient dense foods. They have large dosage of antioxidants, polyphenols, vitamins, minerals, things like goji and turmeric and kale and spirulina. I talked about that in the protein, chlorella and moringa. It reduces risks of disease and promotes healthy gut microbes. It energizes you, boosts your stamina, helps with cellular health, reduces your acid content in your body, reduces inflammation. The list goes on and on with superfoods. And one of the products I like too is from Prairie Naturals. This is the superfoods. And I have people who've said to me, no, I get enough greens, I eat on my salads. But I will say this, by the time, a lot of the time we get our fruits and vegetables up here, they're not going to have the nutrient density that these do, that these powders do, that you can get. And I don't look at this, as I said before, as the protein. This is not a supplement. This is a day-to-day food. I'm almost out of it, to be honest with you. This one, the reason I like it, it has 20 fermented. So it has that fermentation we were talking about before, organic food, antioxidants. This is something I drink when I'm fasting in the morning time. No problem. And I'm not, it helps kind of, the more I drink, the less I'm okay to kind of sustain my fast for a longer period of time. And I notice I'm not as hungry. The fermentation with this product as well reduces the sugar content, improves minerals and vitamins and antioxidants. We've got a whole bunch of ingredients here, so I'm going to go through them all, but we've got alfalfa, kale, wheatgrass, organic barley. We've got oatgrass, we've got fermented maca, turmeric, and beet. We've also got a mushroom blend, and mushrooms are really coming to the forefront right now. So you got king trumpet, turkey tail, all these different amazing mushroom blends, plus spirulina, chlorella, moringa. It's vegan, it's non-GMO, it's soy-free, gluten-free, it tastes good, right? Goes on, and it's local. I love this. So I'm going to go into some of the ingredients. So we have kale in here. It's the most nutrient dense plant in the world. I mean, I make a kale salad. It's kind of hard for me to chew, but I really like it in this, right? Really powerful antioxidant in there. It's high in lutein as well. And xenoxanthins to help with your eyes. So many of us are on our screens all the time. It's really important that we're taking care of our eye health. It's got wheatgrass in there that's going to help reduce cravings. It's going to boost your metabolism. You can read all these. Then you got turmeric. I'm sure you're familiar with turmeric. A lot of people are using turmeric right now for inflammation. It's an amazing product. They also have a standalone turmeric product that's fermented. So if you have a family member in your household who has arthritis or has a lot of inflammation, it works wonders for them as well. It also helps with hormonal balancing too. Then we've got reishi mushroom, lion's mane, turkey tail, and cordyceps. All these different mushrooms to help with things from anxiety to memory to immune support to energy. Then chlorella. So chlorella has 16 vitamins and 8 minerals, 19 amino acids. So it's a complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids. It also is the richest source of chlorophyll. I don't know if any of you were hearing about the TikTok chlorophyll thing going on to help with detoxification for your skin. This is where you're going to get it. And it's also a highly digested protein. So the list can go on and on about chlorella and spirulina as well. It's packed with vitamins and chlorophyll. It's anti-inflammatory. It's a liver detox. All in all, it's just a really great product. And this is the lineup that they have. And I'm going to make it for you so you can kind of see how you do it. But that's, I don't know if you can see, I've used a lot of it. That's it there. I do like 1 scoop. So this is my protein, my shaker cup, all Erin Wellness shaker cup that says "We think what we become" on it. These are for sale as well. So shaker cup, 1 scoop in my shaker cup. Then I'm taking my water and I'm literally just going to pour my water in. I'm going to go probably halfway, quarter way. That's it. So if I wanted to have a lot in here, I could do 2 scoops and I put ice in it. And I just put this in my little lunchbox. It has a light blueberry taste, and it does. It tastes really, they did such a good job on it. Really good job on it. So if you're looking for something to have in the morning time, if you're going to be going in, if you want to try the intermittent fasting or want to try the flexible fasting, it's really great to equip yourself with something like this, because not only is it something you can drink, but it's also something that's going to give you so many benefits. Okay, next, we are what we eat. So on that topic, one of the things I also believe too is with flexible fasting, you not only are learning to land in your body, land when you're hungry, but you're also allowing yourself permission to enjoy yourself every now and then. So even with the chocolate, what some of the people said tonight, you know, having like a bite of chocolate at the end of the day, if that's your 20%, then that's okay. It's if you're eating poorly throughout the day, or if you're trying to do flexible fasting and then overeating at the end of the day, that's not where we want to be at, right? We really want to give ourselves good, nutritious food so our body can give us the results that we're asking for it. And at the same time, being able to not land in a really super restrictive state. So we're not then going to, you know, end up like that lady with the thing full of cakes and cookies. So one of the things that I do, and this is my personal, I'm going to share this with you because this is something I have found that's really worked well for me. I eat protein and fats first thing in the morning. And I find when I eat protein and fats first thing in the morning, my insulin levels don't rise. So I don't get that sugar spike, right, from having the carbohydrates. So I don't have oatmeal. I don't have toast. I usually have 1 egg and about 4 or 5 egg whites. And I'll have salt and, I have the salt and pepper on it, or I'll have a little bit of peanut butter with it too, to have some extra fats. But when we have that, it's going to sustain your mood. It also sustain your blood sugar levels instead of having a carbohydrate first thing. Because often what ends up happening, if we end up having a sugary, high sugar breakfast, your blood sugar levels spike and then it crashes. It also causes your adrenals to release cortisol as well. And then that relieves more glucose into the blood system. And then you crash. And so then you're looking for that second cup of coffee. Then you're tired. That's what I find happens to me. And so by having just a protein and a fat for breakfast, that's how I break my fast every day. Then my second meal is when I'd have more of my carbohydrates. So that's when I'd have my, if I have bread, or if I have some, some sweet potatoes or whatever I may have, it's more my later 2 meals of the day, opposed to having it my very first meal of the day. And I found it's made a profound difference for my sustaining my weight loss over the years and keeping my body the way it is, and also just how I feel. I feel so much better. But I also want to say on that note, we're all different. And one of my very dear friends who looks phenomenal, and she works out, first thing she does in the morning, wake up and have her oatmeal. And she feels great that way. So it's really something you have to kind of tune in for yourself. So if you find you wake up and if you have your oatmeal and you're tired in the morning, you're like, then try maybe having a protein and a fats instead, and see if that really kind of works for you. I just wanted to kind of share that because it's something, after I discovered it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. So having a protein with a fat, it balances your blood glucose levels. It's going to support your adrenals and avoid fatigue, and gives you a constant flow of energy without mood swings. It keeps you satiated, can't speak right now, and avoid sugar cravings, and avoid that sugar roller coaster throughout the day, right? So that's what I tend to have first thing. And what you're getting tonight, we're going to be sending you we're sending you a flexible fasting menu planner. So in this menu planner, I've kind of used that idea, right? So in this, there are some, obviously some snacks. We put lots of food in here so you can take choices. So chocolate avocado smoothie, right? So that's more fats and protein in the morning time. We have avocado smoked salmon omelet, a curry tofu scramble. Those are the things we've done first thing because those are more protein and fats. Now, as I said, please listen to your body. If you are somebody who has that first thing and you're like, I don't feel good, I don't have energy, then have your oatmeal in the morning. This is about personalizing what works for you. And that's what is great about going to webinars. I've been to tons of them. So I'm able to take little tidbits from people and go like, oh, that really made sense to me. I like this. I'm going to use this. This really works for me. So hopefully there's something tonight you're able to grab and use. But you will be sent this flexible fasting meal planner with all of these recipes in there. And as I just said, the most important thing is to listen to your body. My body operates one way, your body operates the next. But as I said, so if you're able to take some of these tools and tips and use them, even better. So now we're going to talk a little bit about supplementation. I'm going to go into 2 of my products that I created. These are the most recent ones, and they really fall in line as well with not only fasting, but also if you're somebody who is trying to lose a little bit of weight and really trying to get that kickstart. And so the 2 products we're going to be talking about is Lose It and Water Be Gone. So when we're losing body weight, how it happens is our fat cells are full. And as we start to lose body weight, the fat cells start to empty from the fat, and it replaces with water to maintain their shape. And the more fat we lose, the more water we retain, until the fat cells completely shrink and we lose the weight. So one of the things with Water Be Gone, it kind of helps speed that process up. So anybody who is experiencing bloating or sodium sensitivity, swollen ankles, puffiness, stiff joints, this is a product you would definitely want to look at. Now, I have also made this product for anybody who has PMS, that 5 to 8 pounds you can gain that week before your PMS cycle. This is a product you take then as well. Or it's a product you can take for weight loss. It has a lot of different kind of ways you can use it, but you can take it pre-cycle, you can combine it with Lose It for weight loss, or you can keep it on your counter. And if you have a salty meal one night, you can take it before you go to bed, or take it with that salty meal, and it will help alleviate that sodium that we can retain with water. So some of the ingredients we have in here, we have black cohosh, It helps with PMS symptoms, relieves menopausal symptoms, relieves hot flashes, and it's also used in the prevention and treatment of prostate cancer in men. So if you have a guy in your life, he can use it and he can like it and he'll learn to love it. I have had a lot of guys who love this product. And then we have dandelions that acts as diuretic, and that's really going to flush that excess water out of your system. Then we've added juniper berry. We have a clinical dose of 4:1 extract, and it helps with UTIs. If you're somebody who kind of feels a UTI coming on, this would be a product as well you could take. It's going to support your kidney health and flush out the toxins and impurities. Then we've added milk thistle to support that important liver, right? And help the liver. The liver also works, milk thistle works synergistically with NAC, which actually helps your immune system. And then we've added magnesium citrate as well. That's going to increase water to the intestine, prevent any cramping that may happen, and flush that water out of your body. So it helps with PMS water weight. It has the hormonal balancing properties in there with the black cohosh, right? For PMS, for menopausal symptoms. Also helps with prostate health, guys. It's a weight loss Kickstarter. You're going to see that dial on the scale move a little faster because it's going to pull that water out of your system. It's a salty meal solution, liver support, UTI support, immune support. It's non-GMO and it is vegan. So that is Water Be Gone right here. I have this on my counter. I use it on the weekends when I have salty meals, and I'll use it pre-cycle. But we're going to be combining it with Lose It tonight. This is how I'm going to talk. So I'm going to pair these two together. So when I designed Lose It, one of the things I wanted to do was have something that would support women who are experiencing estrogenic weight gain, which is more your hips, your thighs, and that's hormonal from hormonal imbalances, but also create something that could help with hunger and also help with metabolism. And this is really what we've come to with Lose It. So it helps with that weight loss plateau. It's hormonal imbalance. It helps the weight along the midsection, low energy and slow metabolism. So in here, we've put indole-3 carbinol. So that comes from cruciferous vegetables. Now, cruciferous vegetables, as we talked about those vegetables, those all important veggies, are important to help with hormonal imbalance. And they actually help prevent the development of estrogenic cancers and balance estrogen in the body. So it helps balance out that estrogenic weight gain. Then we've added red pepper extract, which actually can lead to feelings of fullness. It also helps increase your metabolism because it increases the heat in your body and acts as an appetite suppressant. So if you're somebody who's trying to do fasting, this is a great product. You can take this one just on its own. You can take even one in the morning. It'll make a big difference on how long you can fast for if you're looking to start fasting. It has 1.5 cups of coffee per pills. There's only 3 cups of coffee when you're daily serving in this one, if you decide to do the 2. And green and coffee raises blood levels of epinephrine, which helps with your fat burning and helps with, and contains cholinolic acid, which helps slow down the absorption of carbohydrates. I'm gonna take a drink, I'm getting tongue-tied. Then we have L-carnitine, which is an important amino acid that helps with muscle recovery, helps increase recovery time. So when you're working out, it's going to help with that and plays an important role in your metabolism. And then green tea extract. We have removed all the caffeine from the green tea in here. So we're using the green tea in this product for the theanine. So theanine helps reduce the levels of cortisol. Cortisol is that stress hormone. So when we have that stress hormone in abundance in our body's not going to be able to give us the results we want. And it's going to affect our adrenals, and we're going to probably suffer from adrenal fatigue. So really looking at how we can support your adrenals. It promotes weight loss, helps with blood sugar regulation, and also helps with thermogenesis as well. And then we have olive leaf, which helps reduce appetite and helps improve insulin sensitivity and support weight loss. And lastly, B12. And B12 boosts the metabolism, supports the nervous system, and helps support the adrenal glands, as we just talked about with the theanine, and converts the energy, converts our food into the energy that we need. So this one, Lose It, increases energy, exercise enhancer, hormonal balancing, helps with recovery, fat loss support, low stimulant, and decreases appetite. Okay. Now, that being said, although I just gave maybe a good sales pitch on these two, there is no magic pill. And I would love to say that if you just take these and you don't do anything else, that it's going to work, but it's not. So it's really important These would be great to use in conjunction with, if you're starting to do a flexible fasting concept like we talked about tonight, you're starting to let your body get a little bit hungry in the morning time. This would be a really great support product for that, because it's going to keep you in that fasting state a little longer. You're not going to feel as hungry. But then when you feel hungry, you can honor your hunger cues and you can say, hey, okay, I'm hungry now. Now I'm going to eat some good, nutritious food. I'm going to have a fat and a protein, or I'm going to follow the flexible fasting menu guide. I'm going to use the foods that are in there that are really going to support me and support my body to give the results I want. But one of the things we've done with these products going forward, on every one of Erin Wellness products, you will see there's QR codes. All of them now have QR codes. I have 6 products in total. Those QR codes lead you to a 30 to 60 second video. With the Lose It, you get workouts, you get mindful eating strategies, you get 2 menu planners, vegan and non-vegan, to help support you on your weight loss journey. So that's some of the things we've done with all the products with Erin Wellness, is really giving those to help support everybody where they're going. So these are some of the things. You have the workouts. We have workout videos that are going to be uploaded into this, into the QR codes too as well. So as I said, this is the QR code innovation that we're launching with Erin Wellness. It's 30 to 60 second video, menu planners, recipes, tips and strategies, workouts, daily affirmations, all these different things to support you with whatever you're looking to do, be it hormonal balance, Water Be Gone, Lose It, the weight loss product, Snooze, our sleep support product, Reset, our hormonal period cycle regulator product, and then Restore, which is our stress support product. But they all have these videos and all have different meal plans and etc. added to them. So now we got into extra tips. So recap here, we've now talked about fasting, what the benefits of fasting are, the different types of fasting you can use. We've talked about the stuff you have in the morning time, what you're going to be drinking in the morning, be it tea, superfoods, water, coffee. If you want to have bone broth, you can have bone broth, all those things, very low caloric foods you're going to be having in the morning till you break your fast. And then when you break your fast, looking at having more proteins and fats. And if that doesn't make you feel good, then you can switch and go back to maybe having oatmeal with some protein in it or some sort of healthy breakfast, and looking at having good, nutritious food without the day. Because even if you're doing this flexible fasting and you're eating crappy food, your body's not going to give you the results you want, no matter how much Lose It you take. So really looking at how you can start incorporating all this. But we want to look as well as reducing sugar. So we want to look at not having high sugar foods. That's one of the reasons why after you break your fast, looking at having more fats and more proteins. Because what happens is sugar escalates aging. It also increases your insulin levels. We talked about the insulin levels spiking and going down. It increases the risk for diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. It decreases your immunity. So different solutions you can use. I use Sweet Monk in my tea tonight. It's an all-natural sweetener. They're local girls as well from BC. You can put stevia, xylitol, all those different things. You can start incorporating more natural sweeteners into your day-to-day. Water, drink your water. If it's in your greens, you will be drinking lots of water if you're trying flexible fasting or fasting of any kind. Greens, one of the things I do to track my water, I keep an elastic band. After I finish one, I take it off and put it on my wrist. Right? And I usually have 2 or 3 bands on here every day. So I'm always removing bands and putting them on my wrist. It's a way to track how much water I'm having. Water is going to flush out excess toxins and also hormones as well. You want 8 to 10 glasses minimum. It's also going to help with bowel movements. I was behind a gentleman yesterday in the health food store, and he's like, I'm constipated. I can't go to the bathroom. And she goes, did you drink water? And he's like, well, no. And I'm like, drink your water. So drink your water. Keeps your throat moist and nice, which I should have probably had more sips of my water tonight when I was talking, but you can use natural flavoring if you like, or lemon water too. Next thing too is be kind and be passionate, be patient and compassionate to yourself. You know, we all want change yesterday. And I think, you know, we can really get down on ourselves and not give ourselves enough credit when we're taking these small actions. So if tomorrow you say, hey, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to pack my, you know, protein and my eggs or whatever it is tomorrow you're going to take to work in the morning time, and you're going to pack your salad and your chicken for your afternoon with your piece of bread, whatever the case may be. And then you're going to wait and let yourself get a little hungry tomorrow. And you're going to feel that. And you're going to know, oh, that's ghrelin. Okay, that's cool. That's ghrelin kicking in, which means I'm producing more growth hormone right now, which means my body is, I always think I'm looking younger because I'm producing growth hormone. That's my little way of looking at it, right? So I'm producing growth hormone. So this is a good thing. This is really cool. So my body's doing for me right now, and getting to a point where like, okay, now I'm hungry. Okay, now I'm going to eat, right? If you don't want to go for the full times, if you don't know somebody who wants to really be by that timed intermittent fasting, but that's why I really like the flexible fasting, because I get to land in my body, and I don't ever feel like I'm restricted. I don't feel like I can do this. I can eat when I want to eat. If I want to eat at 8 o'clock in the morning because I'm starving, I'm going to eat at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then the next day it might be 2 o'clock, right? So it's really about learning to land and really recognizing when you're hungry, but taking those little steps of action along the way and focusing on the little wins. If you usually eat at 8 o'clock and all of a sudden you eat 11, yay, good for you, right? So little steps along the way. Exercise. We need to move our bodies. We cannot get away from it. It is beautiful, or it's getting more beautiful out now. Thinking about what sports you played as a child, I have just put my rollerblades back on. After years, I used to live in Toronto for over 10 years. I used to rollerblade everywhere downtown Toronto. When I was going to train clients, I'd always rollerblade. Pulled them back out last weekend. I was along the seawall, and I plan on rollerblading a lot this summer. So really kind of looking at what I used to do as a kid that I really enjoyed being outside. Join a challenge. Workout bands, I carry these in my car. My daughter has field hockey on Thursdays. I go to the field, and I literally have 4 bands in my car at all times. There's such simple exercises you can do. You can even do these at home right now when you're sitting there, just even not even with a band, but hands up. And I don't know if you can see my hands up, but I'm just pulling down and flexing, right? So this is like a lat pull down with a band. And I literally walk around the park doing this, and you feel it. It's a good workout. You can also do push-ups off your chair if you're on Zoom calls, looking at ways of moving your body. If you have to turn your camera off and you're doing Zoom calls at work, do squats up and down, right? Do something, move your body every day, give your body 30 minutes of movement every day. You need to do that just to kind of give your thank you to the universe for the fact that you have this glorious body you get to inhabit. And if you hate doing the full 30 minutes, especially if you're in lockdown right now, 10 minutes 3 times a day. That's what I found was really easier for me when we were in full lockdown out here. So takeaway lessons tonight. We went over the fasting 101, kind of all the different fastings, right? The 16 and 8 hour fast, or the 18 and 6 hour fast, the 5 to 2. We went over those fasting, what that looks like, what you're going to drink in the morning time when you're doing your fast. Then we also looked at the benefits of fasting, right? Weight loss, obviously weight loss. It preserves that muscle that we really want to make sure we're preserving, because it's going to keep our metabolism going, controls your insulin levels. So you're not spiking your insulin all the time, produces growth hormone, reduces oxidative stress, helps with anti-aging, heart health, helps with brain health. I mean, there is quite a list of health benefits from implementing a little bit of fasting in your day-to-day. Then looking at intuitive eating. Am I hungry? Asking yourself, am I hungry? Connecting to my body. Am I hungry right now? And allowing yourself permission to say, yeah, I'm hungry. Okay, am I? Okay, feel my stomach growling. Okay, that's good. Producing growth hormone. I'm going to have a bite to eat now, right? So letting yourself, push yourself a little bit to be a little hungry and see what that feels like. I know that I'm not going to fade away to nothing if I'm a little bit hungry. So pushing myself to a little bit of hungry is okay. Create winning food choices. Because if you're going to be doing this, and you also need to be implementing winning food choices. What am I eating day to day? Getting the good quality protein, making sure you're getting a good smoothie. Having a good protein powder in your cupboard is one of the best things ever. You can make, especially now as it gets warm out. This stuff tastes like ice cream at night, at least it does to me, right? So I can sit there with my spoon and eat away. What to start the day with? I'm not sure what that one's from. It must be an old one. What to start the day? That's from the from the fasting. Sorry. Supplement when you need. Only when you need to. So supplement when you need to. If you need something like Lose It to support you with your fasting or support your weight loss journey, or if you want to take the 2 together, as I said, you would do 1 of each in the morning, 1 of each in the afternoon. This is going to help with water. It's going to help reduce the water in your system. It's also going to speed up your metabolism and help with weight loss. But if you're looking for one just to help even with flexible fasting, this would definitely be the one you want to take. Make sure you drink your water, reduce your sugar, be kind to yourself. and use a plan. This is one of the reasons we're sending you a plan today or giving you a plan tonight, is you're going to have that plan to help kickstart. You're going to be able to look at that menu planner and say, okay, here's some different recipes I can use. You don't have to eat them in the order that I put them by any stretch. Take things out that you think are good ideas that you could use for yourself and make this your own. That's the idea of making it very personalized. And that's the advantage of going to things like this, is hearing different ideas that you can apply to your life to make it personalized and make it work for you. Because everything I do probably won't work for everything that you do, and vice versa. But learning and growing and understanding that's what it's all about. So last but not least, I think the big thing is, what do you want your story to be? And I think this is a big message behind the brand that I'm trying to create and that I've created with Erin Wellness, is every day we have a choice. Every day, every minute of the day, we have a choice. We have a choice with the friends that we have in our lives and the support network. We have a choice with what we put into our mouth. We have a choice with the words we speak. We have a choice with moving our body. We have a choice. And every day we can make different choices, and that can change the trajectory of your life. And if I look back when I was, 10, 11 years ago, and I think about my relationship with food and my relationship with my body and how disconnected I was, I never thought I'd be in a place where I am now. I never thought I'd be able to just have a bite to eat, or I'd be able to trust myself or listen to myself when I'm hungry. So it is fully possible, but I had to make little choices every single day. And those little choices have brought me to a place where my daughter can witness me being a mom who's able to eat healthy and who's able to enjoy food and not be caught up and restricting myself all the time. So I truly believe it is possible for you. And I believe it's about taking those little choices every single day to live the life that you're destined to live and be the best self you're supposed to be. So tonight, on that little motivational rant, sorry. So tonight, we are offering you guys, you're going to be getting not only that flexible meal planner as my gift to you guys, but you're also going to be getting $5 off, Lose It or Water Be Gone. Finlandia will be sending you the coupons in your email, so keep an eye out for them. You're also going to be giving you, Prairie Naturals was nice enough to give you guys $5 off, either a lean whey or a Superfoods, if you want to buy them both, $5 off each. It's a great deal. Really good way to kickstart. As I said, these are foods. These are not just supplements. This is your day-to-day. You want to have these things. They make such a difference. So, and on that note, I want to just thank you all for coming tonight and listening and being engaged. I want to thank Jen for answering questions for me again. She's always just so wonderful and so amazing. And I'm going to, I'll end this off quickly and then I'll take some questions. So Erin Wellness is a female-founded Canadian company. We are women-owned. With purchase of every single Erin Wellness product since we started this brand, a percentage is donated to the Downtown Eastside Women's Shelter here in Vancouver. And I'm super proud of that. My reasoning behind growing this brand was having products that consumers could love and get behind, products retailers would be proud to sell, and then products that would also make a difference. So, and I hope it makes a difference, obviously, in my consumers' lives too, but to make a difference with women who are struggling and in need. And we're also very proudly Canadian as well. So on that note, are there questions? I see there's like 68. I'm not sure if Jen was able to catch them all. So I'm going to try to catch a lot of these questions, if there are any questions. Okay. Thank you. Oh, you were all caught up. Jen, you were like a ninja. She's so great. Yeah, we did an hour. I kind of went long. I'm sorry I went so long tonight, everybody. Jen's amazing. I know Jen's awesome. She's become like a keyboard ninja. She's like my sidekick. Does anybody have any questions? And also too, if somebody has anything personal, you guys can all message me. Hi, Jen. You guys can all message me, or you can email me, Erin@erinwellness.com. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions that personally you don't want to maybe talk in the group. I'm totally open to that. And if you'd like to stalk me, I totally welcome stalkers. Just saying. Erin Bella Ashley is my Instagram. And then also, of course, Erin Wellness as well. You can follow us over there for new products. We have some new products coming out in September and in the fall. Yeah, I'd love to have you guys, and if you try the products, please keep me posted on what you think. And I plan on having some more webinars with Finlandia. Thank you so much. Thank you. Blood Kuska money, this tool. Blood glucose, have you considered this as a tool to measure how you respond to different foods? Blood glucose monitoring. Thank you. Jen, the blood glucose monitoring, do you see that? Can we use that to, I guess you can, obviously you can use that to see how you respond to different foods. Most definitely you can. Yeah, I know that my dad actually uses that to respond to different foods. So he has diabetes, he just got diagnosed. So he uses that to find out how his, yes, they are available at BEC. Yes, you can use that, sorry. We don't have sample size of the Prairie Naturals. They don't have sample sizes of this, but I can tell you it actually has a really nice light blueberry flavor. And if you really hated it, I mean, you can return it, obviously. If it was awful, if you just were like, no, then, but the superfoods, I really think it's fantastic. Is there a product on the market to monitor insulin levels at home yet? I'm not sure about that. Are you talking more like a device to monitor insulin levels? Then yeah, there would be. I know my dad uses his, he pricks his finger constantly, right, to check his blood sugar levels. So that would be one way. I think there's, no, that'd be more ketones, but that would be, yeah, for blood sugar. That's how he checks his blood sugar levels. No, keep your protein levels the same. I would keep your protein levels exactly the same, 100%. You want to keep your protein levels the same, for sure. No problem. All right, are we all good? Good answer to everybody. Yes, they are gluten-free. We're not certified gluten-free, but we are gluten-free. If you have celiac, then I would double, you want to make sure whichever ones you're wanting. This one is gluten-free, and the Whey is gluten-free as well. I believe it is. Hold on, Jen, is the Whey gluten-free?
Yep, the Whey is gluten-free.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm like, is the Whey gluten-free? Okay, as for mine are gluten-free, but they're not certified gluten-free. Should we check ketones? If we check ketones, should we have ketones? Well,
ketones should be checked by urine.
Yeah, they should.
Not by blood.
Yes. If we check ketones, should we have ketones in our urine with intermittent fasting? Well, that also depends too, if you're having a high fat, like if you're doing low carbs, right? So that's the other thing as well. So if you're having, lots of carbs before you go to bed, you might, you're not going to be in ketosis, right? So if you're doing more of the high fats and the high protein, and then you're having very little carbohydrates plus the intermittent fasting, most definitely you should. I keep the superfoods in the fridge. I do. And Finlandia, yes, they will ship the products. They are available online. All right. Okay. Can you send the slide with all the options of fasting? Yes, this is recorded. She's going to be sending you all out this recording. So you guys will have a copy of it, because we're recording it right now. So I'll stop recording and then she'll upload that probably onto her YouTube channel, and then they will send you guys the link when they send you guys the coupons. Okay. Thank you guys very much. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you. And I hope you guys all have an absolutely fantastic night.